Showdown in St. Louis. 11 Aronian from Armenia versus a Karl Nakamura. Number 1 in Armenia, number 1 in the U.S. Showdown in St. Louis. 4 classical games, 15 blitz games, $100,000 in prize money. Pretty good match. Loser gets $40,000, winner gets $60,000. Games coming up. Hi folks, John Cordisco back again. Round 4 of the Showdown in St. Louis, the $100,000 match between 11 Aronian from Armenia and my buddy from the United States, Karl Nakamura. This is game 4. Each of them has 1 win and a draw. They scored a little bit differently. It's 4 points for a win, 2 points for a draw. And right now, each of them has 6 points. This is game 4. I just want to mention, after round 4, they're going to play 15 blitz games. And each game is 1 point for a win and 1/2 point for a draw, as it normally is. I'm going to try to get a lot of the video from that on an upcoming video, so stay tuned for that. Anyway, Aronian's white, Nakamura's black. Let's get to it. It's going to be an open Catalan. Bishop, both castles, d4, pawn takes, queen c2, b5, a4, b4. Interesting though, on this one, knight f to b2 is what Aronian did. And knight b to d2 is what the computer calls for. That's interesting. I thought maybe the knight on b would be better. But he went knight f. c6, knight takes, queen takes, rook to d1, queen c5. Interesting. Now black's up a pawn, but I don't think he can hold it. We'll have to see. Tiny advantage for white in the position, third of a pawn at this point, even though he's up a pawn. Computer knows can't hold it. Knight, bishop a6. Interesting, because you don't really want to move the knight because the e2 pawn is in pre. So you protect the knight. Knight comes up. That was a great move, b3. Protects the knight and allows the bishop to be fianchetto. But Karl's in really good shape here too. About an even game. Rook a to d8. Computer likes bishop d4 and rook a c1. Rook a c1 was Aronian's choice. Knight to b6. Bishop takes. Bishop pawn takes, excuse me. Knight e4. Hitting the queen. Drives the queen over to queen to f5. Now, the Karl's pawns look really butchered in front of his king, but I don't think they really are. I think he's fine. Frankly, 2/3 of a pawn advantage for white. I think Karl's absolutely fine here. That bishop on a6 might need to get rerouted. We'll have to see. Knight takes, a takes, queen takes. Now we're back at even material. Those double pawns on the b file might be a nuisance for Karl. We'll have to see how that works out. Rook takes check. Rook takes. Rook c8, chasing off the queen. Queen takes b6. Bishop takes. Queen to b7. Now, is that a pawn really that big of a deal for white? We'll have to see. Bishop takes. Queen takes check. Bishop f8. Now, you're going to see a little post-mortem after this game. And Levin's going to explain, he thought he was really doing well here. And come to find out, Karl had just the right defense. Queen to d8. Karl plays bishop takes. a5. Now it's a tiny advantage for the black. If white had gone g4 instead, which everybody wanted him to, and we all see why, queen can't take, knight takes check, loses the queen. G6, A5, bishop C4. This is a little better than the way White played it. And this is where Aronian thought he was really doing well. And this he really didn't see that worked out so well for Black. And that's King G7. A6. He thinks he's going to be okay. That A-pawn's going to run. But Carl had just figured out just right. Queen E5. H4 by 11. Bishop D5. Knight takes F6. If Queen had taken instead, Queen takes, Knight takes, King takes, Bishop takes, Bishop C5. And it comes out the same. Dead draw, opposite color bishops. After Knight takes, Queen takes, King takes, Bishop, Bishop C5, comes out the same. If he played E takes instead, A7, and White wins. So after Bishop C5, they called it a draw. White's got to babysit Black's pawn from queening, and Black's got to do likewise. So that was a good result. And Levin thought he was a little better there for a while. I just didn't see it to the end of the variation. So Carl defended very well, I think, precisely. It was hanging on an edge, but he managed to make it. So that's the game from round 4 of the $100,000 showdown in St. Louis. I hope you enjoyed it. There's a little post-mortem after this video of both players. Now what I'm going to try to do is the 15 or odd blitz games that are going to be played. I'm going to try to get some video and maybe towards the end of each game and put it in one video. I'm going to see what I can do. It's going to be a little bit of editing and stuff like that. There's probably going to be 14, 15, 16 games played. So anyway, folks, as I always say, if you think chess is just a game, you're not playing it right. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.
With Grandmaster Nakamura, welcome again to the show. I see you sported the hat back on. Did you win with the hat the first time?
I guess I did, yeah.
Superstar.
Like
I just remembered that. Just a little.
Yeah.
We all have our superstitions. Tell me, this game was wild. This was one of the wilder games of all the games you guys played. What did you feel about it while it was going on?
Well, I didn't actually think it was that wild. I thought it was pretty, drawish for most of the way, I guess. I didn't really feel like it was ever that bad for me. I mean, it felt a little bit worse, but I didn't think I was ever in a lot of trouble. But somehow, I ended up a little bit worse from a position that I thought was fine. Like, right around here, I thought I was completely fine, and then I used a bunch of time to play this move, rook to c8, which
was a critical moment.
I mean, basically the problem is at this point already, I felt that I was close to equal, and so, I couldn't really decide which line to go, because originally I wanted to go bishop takes e2, and if rook d7, bishop c5, and I thought it was very equal. But then for some reason I got a little bit too creative, because with rook c8, I basically just made a huge miscalculation when I played rook c8, which is if you go into the game.
If you don't mind, so I can.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so it takes bishop e2. I mean, basically when I played this line, it was just based on a huge miscalculation, which was, for some reason I completely went insane. I thought that this was just a dead draw. The only problem, of course, okay, bishop c2 is fine, is that basically after queen b4, it's just losing. For some reason, I just completely went insane. Well, okay, the line that I saw was actually bishop f3, the point being that takes, I saw queen e4 or something. I thought it was drawn, and then I just forgot that the d2 square is covered. So, it was very unpleasant to have this realization. But fortunately, I think it's still probably a draw, I think.
Well, it looks like it might still be a draw, but it's so crazy that we have to ask you this question. In this moment here, he had the move g4. Mm-hmm. Did you give consideration to this line?
Well, there are three moves here. You can take on f6, you can go a5, or you can go g4. So certainly I'd considered it. And, it's unclear. g4, queen g6. And I don't know, because queen g6, like a5, I think I can still possibly ignore it with... Can I go king g7 here?
King g7.
I think I can ignore it here, right? King G7, A6, Bishop D5, A7, B3,
let's
right?
do the line. Let's go down that line.
Yeah, okay.
I think
So,
actually I think you can.
yeah,
play this
I think I can just ignore it again because A6, Bishop D5, A7, B3. Or wait, no, he queens. Yeah. Okay, but I mean, but even this one looks pretty drawish. Queen 8, Queen takes G4. I mean, black has no problems. I mean, 4 against 2, it should be an easy draw. But I mean, it looks dangerous. I actually think H4 is the better try. And then I don't know. I mean, because King G7, H5, I don't know, like Queen H6, and maybe Queen D4 or G. I don't remember. At any rate, it was very, very crazy if this had happened. But Levon, I mean, I think he kind of blundered basically when he played A5 because he simply forgot that I could go King G7, and after King G7 there's nothing really left for white to play for. If anything,
absolutely.
Black's the one who's
the whole
who's
game changed
better.
in just one moment without.
Yeah, but I mean, again, I don't think it's that dangerous. But of course, you know, over the board, who knows what would have happened.
Well, the match is tied, and after 4 games, you guys have been wrestling, and it's come down to essential stalemate. I asked Levon yesterday who he thought was the better blitz player, and his response was, I don't want to say because I don't want to sound too arrogant, which is already telling us what he thinks. What's your opinion on who has the advantage in the blitz?
Well, you know, I think a lot of people would consider Levon a better classical player than me, if not alone for the fact that he has a higher rating. So I'll take the same line and say I think I'm better than Levon at blitz because I have a higher rating than he does.
Well, have you guys played much blitz?
We played in Dubai in the World Blitz and Rapid Championships. I think we played both in the Rapid and Blitz. I think I beat Levon in the Blitz, but it was a very even game. So, of course, we're both very strong players, and certainly anything can happen. But I think I like my chances with it being more games because I think the longer, or the more games that there are in Blitz, the better player will show. So I think I like my chances.
Have you played much blitz out of the official circuit, the official tournaments? Just been able to play casually?
Not lately, I haven't, but
I mean with him, I'm talking.
Oh, with Levon, no, no. I mean, I think we've only played in blitz tournaments for like the Tal Memorial. I think we played Tal Memorial Blitz, maybe in Norway also. So we've played in the major events, but you know, casually. I mean, I don't play chess casually with anyone really, so I don't think it should be a surprise that I haven't played with Levon.
One last question: there's a theory of who would have the advantage if trash talking during the game were allowed. What do you think about that?
Well, I'll just say that I think Levon's he's a better trash talker because he's a bit more subtle. I tend to be a little bit too overt, you know, kind of like Kasparov. So I'll give Levon the advantage there.
Well, we look forward to this match. We think it's going to be extremely entertaining. Thanks so much for joining us for the show.
Thank you.
Harem Scarum, thanks, and we are with Grandmaster Levon Aronian, the youngest Grandmaster in Armenian history. He bragged about when we were telling him about.
Anymore.
Not even anymore. Well, you're
My
used to
time.
it in your time, absolutely. Well, Levon, this game was really interesting. We had a lot of fun with it. What was your perception of the game while you were playing it?
I was having a lot of fun before I blundered King G7. Then I wasn't having any fun at all. So
you think you were doing quite well up to that point?
I thought, I mean, just generally, I felt it's very close. I should have a winning move, but then I was calculating all these lines with G4, and I was seeing some interesting ideas, but I couldn't make it work. So I thought I'll transpose the move. So play A5 first, cutting his possibilities, and in fact, I just allowed him to
play King G7.
G7.
Well, let's get to that critical moment in the game. You did play this far. He got this position. And now we were all screaming for the move G4.
I mean, the position is screaming for the move G4.
Okay, great. So you saw it, you wanted to play it, but
Everybody would play G4. I mean.
So what made you not make this move at this moment? Why switch the move order?
Because in some lines, I can actually retreat with my knight when I'm pushing my pawn, and then he doesn't have queen takes G4, and he can only resign. You know, so that was the point. Just because I felt that the pawn is exposed here on G4. And since I thought King G7 is impossible, he has to play Bishop C4 anyway. You know, I felt I'll play G4 there. And there is actually very good, because if I play... Do I use a mouse here?
You can.
Like this.
Move there. A5 is on the. You played 26 A5. Well, you want to do that move, okay?
Yeah, like here. H4 is excellent here. I mean, now H4 works beautifully. I have this. See? So.
The engine's already saying you're picking off this F pawn with check.
It's crushing. So the whole point is that I felt that he will not play bishop c4 here. He'll play a move like king g7, a6, bishop d5, and then when I win the pawn, he'll win the g4 pawn with any, very slim chance to win the game. So that was the point. I felt that I'll play a5 and he'll play bishop c4.
And he'll make the bishop move first. I see.
Because there, if he plays bishop c4, g4, queen b5, I kind of.
Sorry, cancel that for me, please.
Yeah.
So you're saying bishop
c4.
Bishop c4.
Yeah. G4, queen b5. He kind of vacated an important square, and here I think black is getting crushed by bishop e4. This was my calculation. It's like too much to handle. You know? Computer disagrees, but I mean, generally that was my feeling.
Okay. So you just felt that by switching the move order, you wanted to play the move, but it was an improved version, and then suddenly he played king g7, and then it all went up in smoke.
I actually realized that I'm so stupid, because after a6 he can even play bishop c5. The one moment I thought, what am I doing? You know, it's not just queen e5. He doesn't have to be sophisticated just to hold the position, which was, of course, embarrassing. The realization of that.
So how do you feel now? I mean, you haven't played your most precise chess these 4 games, and now you have to go into the Blitz match against him. We asked him the question about Blitz, and naturally he said the opposite of what you said. He thinks he has the advantage in this matchup. Do you hold to your guns that it's all you for this one?
Honestly speaking, I thought that my advantage in classical chess is bigger than in Blitz. But, you know, I love playing Blitz. So practice tonight. I'll play some games.
Who are you going to play that could match up against Nakamura? The computer?
Oh, with some of my friends on the internet. Probably do that.
You must have some good friends.
Certainly.
Well, we look forward to that matchup. Get your rest,
Thank you.
and your practice in should be a great match. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Grandmaster Levon Aronian, it's all tied here, folks. Blitz is on the way here.